To explore the role of the five senses in Buddhism, I decided to discuss the influence of the senses upon one's quest for enlightenment with one of the most celebrated bhikkhunis in Mahayana Buddhism of South Korea. The purpose of my stay was to investigate how the physical senses could stimulate a better understanding of the intangible prajna, or wisdom. After all, the Mahaprajna Paramita clearly states that, when engaged in thinking, he should definitely exclude all thoughts connected with the phenomena of sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch. According to the Four Noble Truths, one must overcome anatta, the concept that nothing has a fixed identity, to overcome one's tanha, or craving, for such material possessions perceived by our senses, to surpass dukkha, or suffering, and attain nirvana and enlightenment. So, how can ephemeral sensory aids to worship help Buddhists gain enlightenment? One may look at examples such as San Feng Shi, where the visual representations of earth through sand and rocks help one recognize that everything is constantly revolving. Furthermore, Feng Shi highlights the energy flowing through all entities at every stage of the cycle. In simplifying such an abstract term to a tangible illustration, one can truly grasp prajna and, thereby, advance on their journey towards enlightenment. Buddhism doesn't have a god, so there is no need for senses to evoke awe or admiration. However, we do have complex philosophies that can be explained easily through employing the senses. Take the symbol of 108 beads, for example. Among many things it stands for is the Harshad number, a number divisible by the sum of its digits, signifying complete joy that can be attained through enlightenment, whilst it also represents the 108 desires and lies one must avoid. These complex ideas can be represented by a single mala containing 108 beads, or smell the incense that will cleanse your mind. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that interesting that senses, which can easily end up as delusions with ignorance, one of the 3 deadly poisons hindering enlightenment, at the hand of a wise pursuer of enlightenment can be used as a helpful tool? The focus on the perceiver rather than the senses themselves is very sound and seems to explain how senses could help one to get enlightened. At the same time, after research over recent spending on purchasing such visual aids to worship, such as precious metal in the Thunderbolt Vajra, a metaphorical weapon against delusion, made me wonder if there could be more of a meaningful way of understanding enlightenment. An extreme example is the King of Thailand's gift of 600 pounds of gold for the Mahabodhi temple in 2013, which was famous ironically for where the Buddha rejected tanha to wealth. Indeed, many people believe that spending the money on helping the underprivileged and gaining punya or merit would be living according to the right action of the Noble Eightfold Path to gain enlightenment, then visually adorning the temples. I see your point, and I do agree that placing the priority on the senses rather than the lasting truth behind the senses is very dangerous indeed. But if we approach all sensory experiences, whether that be visual, audible, taste, feeling, or from the instincts, with the additional sixth sense that the Buddhists believe, one would be able to gain a deeper insight into the world. What is this sixth sense? Thought. In fact, I believe that to be truly enlightened is to be able to sense the wisdom at the core of each sensory encounter we face in our daily lives. The 5 senses, as long as the Buddhist has the ability to self-reflect and think, seems to be extremely instrumental in illustrating various Buddhist ideals. To summarize, I would like to quote an extract from the Dhammapada.